So putting together a graph, and notice I'm starting at x equals 0. I'm not interested in what's happening when x is smaller than 0. And the first thing I knew was that the domain is at 1. And I know that the vertical asymptote goes towards infinity, and I also know it heads to the horizontal asymptote is y equals 0, so I know that the graph will approach 0. I don't know if it does it from the bottom or from the top, so I'm not quite sure about that, so I'm just going to leave that as two very faint dotted lines. The next thing I know is that I know the max happens at e to the 1 over e. Sorry, e, that wasn't quite right, just copied that down off my notes incorrectly. The max happens at e to the and 1 over e. There we go. So at e, which e is 2.71, so that's 2, 3, it's going to be somewhere in here. E and 1 over e. Make this 1 over e here. We know it has a max, so I'm just going to put a little horizontal line showing that it's going to hit a peak there. And we know that it's increasing all the way up to that yellow mark. So let me graph in what I've got here. I've got going through here, and it's increasing, and then it's going to go back down. But we know it's not going to cross the x-axis again, and because there's only 1 0, so that means it's going to come back down. Oops. Come back down and head like this, which means that we can erase this bottom one here. And then let's check the concavity. Remember, there was an inflection point at e to the 3 halves, and 3 halves e to the negative 3 halves, something like that. So e to the 3 halves is bigger than 4. It's a little bit between, it's between 4 and 5. So there's 2, 3, 4, 5 roughly. So the inflection point is happening right there. And it's concave down before that inflection point and concave up. And that's really hard to see on my graph here, but I'm going to use a highlighter to show. So here we've got concave down to here, and then we're going to switch it. We're going to do a slight curve up, and it's concave up. But it doesn't cross the asymptote. The line, it looks like it does, but my thick highlighter does. There we go. We've graphed, using all our skills without a graphing calculator, we've graphed a function that involves a natural log.